Welcome to Pat Gray Unleashed.
It's the beginning of our brand new season. With a new show open. And, we've been sprinkling in the other new elements along the way. And just kind of freshening things up.
I like this.
Yeah.
Got some guitar. Can we hear a little bit more of it, or did you already kill it?
Yeah, it keeps going. I mean, it's almost endless.
Nice. Okay, all right. I dig it.
I like it.
Thanks, Martin. Martin, you did this, right? You wrote it. You recorded it.
Sure.
That was all me.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah.
All me.
All right. So, we had the wonderful speech from our uniter last night. The uniter president. He's going to bring the country together. And, wow, has he done a good job of that or what?
Yeah, he's a pro. He's a pro.
Oh, man.
At finding a common cause to unite us on.
Right?
He said the word democracy 37 times, I'd like to point out.
Oh, good God.
20 minutes, 37 mentions.
37
And
times.
he would wedge it in at awkward moments that's like, all right, what are you doing? We understand what you're doing here, but it's not. It doesn't even flow, man.
Yeah. I mean, people don't think it's a big deal. Some, or many, probably. They don't, democracy, republic, whatever. It matters. It does, because they're doing this for a reason. This is why they changed the language on us. This is why, they don't call abortion. They call it reproductive rights, because it changes it. It doesn't, reproductive rights sounds like, they deserve that. Yes, they should have reproductive rights. Jeez. Same with democracy. It is their code word for socialism, because they're doing this social democracy. It's agonizing.
Sure is.
And he is the biggest liar to ever hold the office, which makes this initial clip we have all the more agonizing. Here's what he had to say.
This institution, this intimidation,
He screwed it up.
this
He
violence
screwed it up.
against Democrats, Republicans, and nonpartisan officials just doing their jobs are the consequence of lies told for power and profit, lies of conspiracy and malice, lies repeated over and over.
Oh,
to
my God.
generate a cycle of anger, hate, vitriol, and even violence.
Like
In
the
this
lies he
moment-
tells over and over. Pause it for just a second. Like the lie he tells about January 6th all the time, that 5 people were killed that day. No, that is not the case. Let's set Ashley Babbitt aside, who was killed that day by Capitol Police. The rest of them were not killed by anybody. Sicknick died of natural causes, couple of strokes, and then I believe 2 or 3 other police officers died in the aftermath committing suicide. Well, how do you attribute that to January 6th? You can't. You don't know that, January 6th was just so horrifying they couldn't live anymore? Come on. So talk about lies. They tell the biggest lies they possibly can over and over and over and over. The lies about this election denial stuff. They're the biggest election denialists on earth. They've been doing this since 2000 at least. Every election they lose, they deny every single one. And we've shown you that. We've proven that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things he said last night. Find out who's. He said there's over 300 people on the ballot who are election deniers.
What?
Somebody brought up a good point.
300?
Yeah, somebody brought up a good point that. Stacey Abrams is on the
ballot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But that whole speech was geared. It It was an 11th hour attempt for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party to go, January 6th, remember, election deniers, don't vote for that party.
They're trying desperately to throw whatever they can against the wall to save themselves because they know they're in huge trouble. They know there is a red tsunami coming at them, and they're trying everything they can to avoid it, but they can't. They can't avoid it. Anyway, let's hear the rest of this. We can stand it. The truth.
The very future of our nation depends on it.
You wouldn't know the truth if it
My
smacked
fellow
you in the
Americans,
face.
We're facing a defining moment,
That's
an
true.
inflection point.
Okay.
We must, with one overwhelming, unified voice, speak as a country.
Yeah, you're right.
Say there's no place
For your
voter
hate.
intimidation,
Okay.
political violence in America.
Sure. Okay, that's fine by me. I love how now they're so radically opposed to violence. All of a sudden, violence is the worst thing in the world. Violence is never the answer. Okay, well, I mean, look at this portion of his speech. He began the speech by drawing a direct connection between January 6th and the storming of the Capitol building and last week's attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, which we're going to delve into later, who was bludgeoned with a hammer by a deranged nudist in San Francisco. And he said, "We don't settle our differences in America with a riot, a mob." Wait, really? Huh. Seems like we do when you're in agreement with the rioters.
Yep.
The entire summer of 2020?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was 2020. So it's been over 2 years now. You didn't do a thing about that.
No.
You never even talk about that. No. City after city was set on fire.
And in fact, don't forget when the leftist crowd surrounded the White House and President Trump had to go into the basement.
Right.
Did the left go, "Oh my gosh, guys, this is the presidency. This is the people's house. What are you doing?"
No, they mocked Trump for being a coward.
Precisely.
It's despicable. It's despicable. Oh, all of a sudden, riots and mobs are terrible. Wow. Okay. I can't. This is hard to hear for a second time. It was hard to hear the first time.
And one
a lot
thing
of screaming at the television, which is
one thing
useless, of course, because I don't think he could hear me.
Wait a minute, it's useless?
Yeah,
I do that during every Nebraska and Atlanta Falcons game.
Well, yeah, I know.
You're telling me I've been wasting my time? Okay, so Defiant L's, they do a great job of finding old tweets and stuff like that. But they did a good job this morning where they reposted a tweet from January 20th of 2022, earlier this year. And it's just it's a retweet from USA Today Politics. It says President Joe Biden said Wednesday the 2022 midterm elections could easily be illegitimate if Congress does not pass voting rights legislation. And then, of course, last night his speech was all about...
Right. So he's a freaking election denier.
Precisely. So in other words, he didn't get that legislation. So now, by default, he's questioning the results before they happen of the midterm.
So was Hillary Clinton with that video she did last week. That was outrageous. And she's been denying the 2016 election for the last 6 years. And now she's denying the next election in 2024 before it even happens.
She called George Bush an illegitimate president.
Right. They all did. They all did. So don't give me this election denialist bull crap. Ugh. He also told us that democracy is on the ballot this year.
Yeah. Here we go.
Recent polls have shown that overwhelming majority of Americans
Right.
believe our democracy is at risk, that our democracy
we
is
don't
under
have
threat.
a democracy, douche.
They too see that democracy is on the ballot this year,
No, it isn't.
and they're deeply concerned about it.
No,
So today,
I'm not.
I appeal
Some
to
might
all Americans, regardless of party,
Okay.
to meet this moment of national and generational importance.
Okay.
We must vote,
We must vote.
knowing what's at stake and not just
Yes,
the policy of
you're
the moment.
right. Yes, you're
The
right.
institutions that have held us together as we sought a more perfect union are also at stake. We must vote knowing
Okay.
who we have been, what
Right.
we're at risk of becoming.
I mean, that's all true. That one I'm fine with. Because he's right. He just doesn't know why he's right.
Exactly the point. Yeah.
Man.
Yep. This is on social media where you spend a lot of time, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why they call me
it's
Mr.
like
Twitter, Keith.
Yeah. Every time that you open it up, there's always these alerts that don't expect results on election night. That's crazy. Don't just you got to wait for them to count the votes.
It's going to take us time to steal this election, and we can't do it on election night. That's why you hear that we've stopped the counting process in the middle of the night, and the next day, the person you thought was going to win suddenly is now hundreds of thousands of votes behind.
That's how we've always done things in America, right?
Yeah. Well, not always, but the last couple of times,
right. That's our new tradition. We're counting slower now.
Yeah. Do you remember? I mean, we always got the results on election night. Except for the year 2000, okay? For the presidential election in 2000, obviously, that took a lot longer. But generally speaking, we always get the results on election night. It's not that hard. You got a bunch of people. You're ready to count them.
Yep.
And then when you're doing it electronically, there's a machine that counts them for you. It's really not that tough.
I agree 100% with this tweet from Jesse Kelly that says, and by the way, Twitter did not like this tweet. It's been flagged by the community. But it says, pro tip, if your state cannot count every vote on election night, there's cheating in your state.
Okay.
Entire nations count their votes on election day. If you can't, it's because you don't want to. I agree 100%. So
I do too.
So if you have places like Twitter, which we've learned this week through DHS leaks, that there was a portal that the government had access to to stifle speech on social media. So if you've got social media constantly telling us, hey, look, you're going to have to wait. Tuesday night, we're not going to know the results. And you have this speech by the President of the United States who's saying if you question election results, something's wrong with you and you hate democracy.
Un-American.
Right? Un-American.
He said it
He
last
literally
night.
said
You're
that. Yes.
Un-American.
So are you still feeling a red tsunami, or are you feeling nefariousness going on a week from now?
It does make me nervous.
It sure as hell does, man. I don't like it, and I am expecting the worst next week.
Then, of course, you've got the dichotomy of Biden going after Donald Trump, whom he hates with just such a passion. But all the while, asking for unity. We got to be together on this.
Okay.
Check this out.
The issue couldn't be clearer in my view. We, the people, must decide whether we'll have fair and free elections. And every vote counts. We, the people, must decide whether we're going to sustain a republic where reality is accepted,
He actually said
the
Republic.
law is
Wow.
obeyed,
Yeah. Wow.
One time.
and your vote is truly sacred. We, the people, must decide whether the rule of law will prevail, whether we will allow the dark forces to thirst for power
It's just a thrust, a
put ahead of
thirst.
the principles that we've long guided us.
American
You know, American democracy is under attack because
democracy is under
defeated
attack.
former president of the United States refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election.
Give me a break.
He refuses to
give me a
accept the
break.
will of the people. He refuses to accept the fact that he lost. He has abused his power and put the loyalty to himself before loyalty to the Constitution. He's made a big lie, an article of faith in the MAGA Republican Party, the minority of that party. The great irony about the 220 election
220.
is that it's the most attacked election in
Pause
our
it for a
history.
second.
That's the year.
And yet,
It was back in 220.
Yeah, it was the 220 election.
Oh, wow. That
Biden
was
versus Trump.
like 1,800 years ago.
No,
The election of 220 AD. Yeah, man. Those were the days, weren't they? They're not coming back. 220.
Nah.
He's so bad.
yeah,
Please.
don't put numbers on the screen, man.
Go away. He can't do any numbers,
Yeah.
as we've noted many, many times, because, this comes
I'm just
out.
going to bring $1.7 trillion billion off the sidelines in investment.
That's so great.
It's just stunning.
All right, let's see if we can get through this clip. Oh, Man.
There's no election in our history that we can be more certain of its results.
What? What? Where do you get off with that? Show me the facts backing that statement up.
You're trying too hard, Joe.
Oh, man. Wow.
You're a little too confident in the 220 election results.
Yeah,
bro.
Oh, that's for sure. All right, let me tell you about, before we get back into this, let me tell you about preborn. Got at the big Mercury One gala on Saturday night. Got to sit next to the founder and the owner of preborn. What a great guy, and what a great organization he has founded here. Ministry of Preborn and Blaze Media had partnered together to help rescue 50,000 babies from abortion in 2022. It's really tough right now for them because a lot of people think, man, the work is done, for one thing, because Roe v. Wade was overturned. No, that didn't stop anything. In fact, California has ratcheted up and has done way more abortions than they did before. Now, I just saw an estimate that maybe 10,000 babies' lives have been saved since Roe v. Wade, in other states like Texas. But this fight is far from over. So, please, they need your help. Preborn provides the ultrasound for an expectant mother who's considering abortion. And 80% of the time, once they see that baby in the womb, once they hear the heartbeat, changes their minds. And then when that happens, Preborn then provides all kinds of other help for them. Baby clothes, diapers, car seats, counseling if they need it, and a lot more free of charge. And that's where you come in. If you could donate, please dial 250, pound 250. Say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
I wonder what percentage of our listeners actually sit there and watch and listen to a Joe Biden speech like this that is going to be agonizing going in.
No,
like
they
we
tweet
did.
us and they say, I'll let
Thank you
watch
for doing
this.
it for us.
Yeah, he'll let you
so
do
we
it.
don't have to. And I think that's true. I'll bet it's 90% that don't watch it. Because I'll tell you what, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put myself through it.
Yeah.
But we have to do it for this. And sometimes I don't even do it then. I just let Keith do it. And then we can, play it together in the morning. And I can go through it once. But twice, man, is really hard. Really, really hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as an American, should you watch that stuff?
Yeah, I guess.
Or as someone in charge of your health and your blood pressure, should you not watch that stuff?
Well, that's the thing. And you know what he's going to say. And you know he's a liar. And you know he's a divider. And he's going to lie and divide. And that's what he did last night. My gosh, this is the most divisive president in U.S. history. I think this guy is more divisive than Abraham Lincoln. At least Abraham Lincoln wanted to keep the Union together. Jeez.
Yeah. My 97-year-old grandmother, Nana, she said, she was with me yesterday. And yesterday afternoon, she said, last night, about 10 minutes before the speech, she said, I think we should watch the Biden speech. And I reminded her that earlier in the day, she had told me, when you know someone's lying to you, I think it's a sin to sit there and listen to him. So I reminded her of that. I said, well, you just said. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she said that, sometimes I sin. So she wanted to watch the speech.
That's great.
Speech as an American.
97?
Yeah.
Wow, jeez.
She got her wits about her for sure.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Biden told us why the election season is so important.
Okay, here we go.
This is good stuff.
I've said before, you can't love your country only when you win. This is no ordinary year.
How profound.
So I ask you to think long and hard about the moment we're in. In a typical year, we're often not faced with questions of whether the vote we cast will preserve democracy or put us at risk. But this year we are. This year. I hope you'll make the future of our democracy an important part of your decision to vote and how you vote.
I will, believe me.
I hope you'll ask a simple question of each candidate you might vote for. Will that person accept the legitimate will of the American people.
Remember
people voting in his
this
district
clip
or her
right here.
district.
Yeah.
Will that person accept the outcome of the election, win or lose? The answer to that question is vital.
Is it? Why?
In my opinion, it should be decisive. And the answer to that question hangs the future of the country we love so much and the fate of the democracy that has made so much possible for us.
Yeah, it's not a democracy, stupid. It is not a democracy. Jeez. 37 times. Holy cow. In a 20-minute speech, saying democracy 37 times. That's got to tell you something. That shows how desperately they're trying to sneak that in on you and just make you comfortable with it. Man, I've noticed they've ratcheted up the democracy bullcrap over the last several years. They used to call this a republic. They used to know that, and they still do. But now it's the code, and it's getting you used to it and comfortable with it, and then they'll make the switch. You know who did this in the first place? Lenin. That's who, not John Lennon. Vlad Lenin. What a horrible speech that was last night. Just so divisive and just so many lies. And he just stands there facing us and just flat out spitting in our faces as American citizens. Agonizing. 888-900-3393. Then we have this article from The Economist. No, it's or is it World Net Daily? It's from Stephen Moore. And he's talking about whether or not Biden is destroying the nation on purpose. Is it intentional? Well, of course it is. We've discussed this multiple times. But Stephen Moore says, everywhere I go, people are mystified about President Joe Biden's economic agenda. So few of the policies comport with basic common sense that I'm asked the same question over and over. Is Biden intentionally trying to take a wrecking ball to the economy?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. Yes.
No, but that's not what he says, is it?
No, he says, is all this part of some diabolical plan, the Great Reset, to end our system of free market capitalism and replace it with some form of big government socialism? Yes.
Yes, Stephen.
Biden keeps saying that he wants to be a historic president who will transition the country into a new workers' paradise where no one uses fossil fuels or electricity or cars, and equality is paramount ahead of growth and prosperity. Is he taking us there with no regard for the collateral damage to America? Stephen Moore says, my belief is that no, I don't think this is an intentional, nefarious, Dr. Evil type plot. Yeah, it is. What do you mean? Of course it is.
It's I really appreciate. I like Stephen Moore, and he lays out a case in that article of I think 7 different ways that it looks like it's intentional. Yet but then he somehow
draws the conclusion it isn't. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's just naive, you know. And they think it's conspiratorial if you go there. No, I mean they've proven that they're trying to bring this country down to a level with the rest of the world, because they can't bring the rest of the world up. They just don't have the power to do that. We've tried to show them the way, but you can't force them to do things right. So anyway, here are the 7 Biden steps to undermine the economy and the society from within. And they're right. I mean, these are good steps, and they're convincing. But then he says, yeah, that's not what it means, though. Anyway, number 1, dismantle the nation's energy supply. Boy, he's done that to perfection. We get 70% of our energy from fossil fuels. Biden has declared war on American oil and gas, making us more dependent on our enemies for our basic energy needs. Number 2, don't enforce the border. Biden is letting hundreds of thousands of potential criminals, terrorists, welfare recipients, and enemies of the United States into our country through a porous southern border with Mexico. Okay, it's not hundreds of thousands. It's millions.
Definitely.
Immigration is good, he says, but it must be orderly and regulated. Yeah, and legal. Legal. Number 3, devalue the nation's currency through inflation Inflation is up nearly 9% since Biden came into office. Inflation is a means to erode the value of a currency. Number 4, destroy the nation's finances by running up the debt by multiple trillions of dollars. No president in modern times has so recklessly pushed our nation into debt as rapidly as Biden through his $4 trillion in spending with red ink. $4 trillion. And then he turns around, looks us in the face, and tells us he's cut spending. He has cut the deficit. Such a lying sack. Number 5, divide rather than unite the nation. Rich versus poor, black versus white, gay versus straight, rural versus urban. Biden promised unity. Instead, he pits groups against each other. This is the identity politics of the left that's the opposite of e pluribus unum.
But they're not trying to destroy
But he's not
us.
trying to destroy us on purpose. And the one thing he leaves out here is Republicans versus Democrats, the mega MAGA Republicans who are so evil and treacherous. Number 6, dumb down and indoctrinate our children with anti-American propaganda in the schools and media. And allowing teachers' unions and left-wing activists to take over curriculum with anti-American propaganda, it's the opposite of nurturing patriotism and love of country. It's making a convincing case here.
Yeah, well, and remember, Laura Logan was saying how the United Nations, they've got the plan to bring in flood so many immigrants into the United States, teach them to hate the United States, and you can dilute the patriot voice in this country.
And number 7, decriminalize a lot. Let criminals onto the street, end bail, empty the prisons, let minor crimes go unpunished. Biden's policies favor criminals over victims. It's a scene out of a Batman movie. Are these policies intentional or simply completely misguided? Then he concludes, I don't know, but does it matter? Either way, our country is in grave peril.
Uh-huh.
He just doesn't want to say it.
He doesn't want to say it. Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, and he talked about
he doesn't want to appear to be a radical.
I guess, well, to empty the prisons. Remember, that was there were so many puzzling things from the COVID era. But remember, that was an excuse to empty the prisons because we got to get them out of here or else there's going to be COVID. What? Okay, so prisoners are going to get COVID if they're locked up?
Yeah.
That's the result? I can live with that. Jeez. But no, they emptied the prisons, first chance they got.
Yeah.
While you couldn't go and watch a relative die.
Right. That's right. All right, let me take 1 minute to tell you about Keeps. If the first thing you notice is your balding spots, your receding hairline, whatever, you're sensitive about it already, and then inevitably somebody's going to say something about the glow coming off your bald spot during the course of the day. It's just, if you've had enough of it, please try Keeps. Keeps has clinically proven FDA-approved hair treatments available online. So no matter what it is you want to try to do with your hair, prevent the loss of it, stimulate hair growth, or just take care of what you have, your Keeps physician will help you select the right products and develop a personalized hair-saving routine that works for you. One of the first things Keith said when he went to Keeps and tried this was how great they are to work with. That they customized your plan for you.
Yeah, there's one of their medications that I didn't have interest in. And so rather than just send it to me as part of the prepackaged thing.
And try to force it on you.
Right. They saved me some money, and I didn't have to buy that.
That's great. And it's really easy. You don't have to wait in waiting rooms at their doctor's office or no pharmacy visits. Keeps is delivered straight to your door at about half the cost. And if you have questions, you can message your Keeps doctor 24/7. It's awesome. So visit keeps.com/Pat. Get 50% off your first order. 50% off at Keeps, KEEPS.com. Keeps.com/Pat. That's Keeps.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Then, of course, there's the Social Security hoax that they're trying to pull on us. You talk about big lies. There is one after another with these people.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And we can thank the new Twitter for shutting this lie down.
Yeah, thank you. We'll tell you about that coming up next. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Some tweets here. Ape Lincoln tweets, the only thing missing from Biden's recent speech was the authoritarian regime backdrop. Yeah, and they've done that in the past.
They made sure to soften the background last night.
Yeah, they did. They learned their lesson from that time a while ago where they did I don't know, looks like he was standing before the gates of hell. Caffeinated Texan, when I was young and a computer as powerful as an iPhone filled an entire room, we got election results on the night of the election.
It's amazing.
It is. Yeah. From John M., Biden is saying that everyone needs to accept what happens in the election this month because they know they have the election rigged.
That was the sinking feeling that I had last night.
Ugh.
Yep.
Hope not. Spoon, self-defense expert. I remember all the questioning of Clinton's election and Obama's elections. No?
No.
Huh. So it's just 2020 we seem to have an issue with.
Huh.
Maybe it's because there's obvious reasons to question it, like boarding up windows while counting votes. Yeah, and all this stuff that arrived at 3 a.m. and, suddenly he was up by hundreds of thousands. Then they stopped the voting. And then all of a sudden, we found a whole bunch more, and now he's down by 100,000.
Huh.
Come on. Ken from New Hampshire is asking if you're aware of the election that happened in Brazil. Yeah, we are. They're rioting in the streets, and it's the exact same thing that happened here and could happen again.
Yeah.
That was from a drive-by caller, Ken, as Rush would call them.
Yeah, so that's how you got a Marxist now, ascending to the presidency in Brazil.
And he's been there before, by the way.
Questions of the election.
And the integrity thereof.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's never, honestly, is it ever, when you have a questionable election like this, right? Do you ever get the pro-freedom guy that wins in the end?
No, you don't seem to, no.
Huh.
No, you really don't. Which is fascinating, isn't it?
Sure is, Pat.
And ahead of our election, John Grumlich tweets, percent of registered voters who see violent crime as a very important voting issue this year. Black Democrats, 82%. White Democrats, 33%.
Oh, my. That's a disparity.
Isn't it?
So black Democrats are more concerned with crime than white Democrats.
Yeah, black voters are particularly likely to say violent crime is a very important midterm issue. They've consistently been more likely than other racial and ethnic groups to express concern about violent crime. 81% of black Democratic voters say violent crime is very important to their vote this year. Only a third of white Democratic voters say the same thing. And that's Democrats, too. They're just pulling Democrats on this. And then the other thing that's going on right now, right before the election, is that Democrats are all trying to say, hey, there's no violence going on. What are you talking about? It's about the same it's ever been. And they know it's not. They keep telling you that you don't see what you actually see, and you don't feel what you really feel. Like they know you better than you do.
Yeah. And that claim that they're making, I forget how they nuance that, but look at the Democrat cities. The big cities, the blue cities, that's where the crime is spiking through the roof. I forget how they're making that claim. I think maybe, I don't know. I have just no idea.
One way is I heard Joe Behar of the Coven yesterday say,
they keep trying to make this point that violent crime is way up in New York City. This year alone, it's down 4% from last year.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, it spiked about 600% last year in New York, so it's down 4% from that. It's the same thing Biden's doing with the price of gas. Yes, you're coming down off a record high because of what you've been doing the last 2 years. That doesn't mean crime is better. It's just less bad than it was last year, and only slightly in New York City. It's up everywhere else, virtually.
Yeah, the blue cities are definitely rocked by crime.
As they've always been, by the way.
Yeah, and even more so now.
Man. So if you've been following all of these important little tidbits, especially on January 6th in the news, CNN had quite a story yesterday. It's probably going to rock your foundation.
Oh, no.
If you're not really settled in your principles, then I'm sure this is going to completely turn your world upside down. You know the Oath Keepers, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I've heard that they were there on January 6th.
They were. Not only that, you know what else?
Oh, no. What?
After the Capitol riot,
Yeah.
they went to the Olive Garden and spent over $400 on food there. So, CNN thought that was a big deal because they started, I guess they were tweeting and trying to get people to join them at the Olive Garden after. So they put Alcon. Oh my gosh. That's like that's military speak.
Yeah, sure is.
So they were planning some
All concerned,
some kind of military maneuver for all concerned.
Oh, snap. They wanted more breadsticks, and they were willing to take the kitchen by force.
It's possible, yeah.
At the Olive Garden.
Or maybe there weren't enough there, and they were going to go back to the Capitol kitchen and take breadsticks from there.
Did I say to stop putting cheese on my salad? I did not.
So keep putting it on.
Yeah.
Anyway, the announcement went out. Alcon going to eat at Olive Garden. That came from Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes. So don't tell me this was some low-level guy.
Oh, my.
Telling people to meet at Olive Garden.
Do we know how well they tipped?
I don't think we do. I don't think we have that information.
See, I need CNN to do some digging.
Yeah, they need to do a little follow-up story.
Sure.
And they only gave 14% as a tip when the going rate is 20.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And don't do the subtotal either. Do it after tax.
You know what bugs me now is when it's these counter servers, you get your food right at the counter. All they do is take it from the cook and hand it to you. And now every one of them want a tip. Because even when you pay at the register, it goes right to the screen. Tip 15, 20, 25%. Really? I got to tip them for just handing me my food?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even bring it to my table.
See, what you got to do is...
I hate that.
Yeah, ask them, say, hey, and this opens up a door to have a conversation about how you should properly vote. But you just say, hey, do you guys have to share tips with the other staff, or do you get to keep yours,
We have to tip out, and you have to share it with everyone.
Okay, well, that's socialism, and it sucks because,
right.
that chick over there, their coworker, she didn't do anything. She didn't bring me anything. She didn't serve this table. How do you feel about that? And then anyway, I'm a loser, and this is what I do. But what you do is you make it clear. Say, this is not a tip. This is a gift. I'm just giving you this money. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing the socialist tip out game. Screw that. No. I am not a lot of fun.
That comes as a surprise.
I'm not a lot of fun?
I think, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I bet people are stunned right now. Let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. It's an interesting market right now. It's up, sometimes down, other times. Who knows what's happening in your market and where it's going to go. But that's why you need a great realtor, and that's where Real Estate Agents I Trust comes in. It's a free service to you, and these are just great agents that Glenn and his team have scoped out and want to provide you with. So they provide this service for free, and these agents will see your selling process or your buying process all the way through, from the day you interview them till the day you sign on the bottom line, about 5,000 times, because that's how many dotted lines you have to sign on when you close on your house. It's quite a process. Anyway, whether you're buying or selling, you're relocating, and you need to do both, please check out Real Estate Agents I Trust. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Here's how desperate the Democrats are. Jeez. The mother of Brian Sicknick is blaming Kari Lake for the death of her son. She tweeted out, my son died because of people like Kari Lake.
Yeah, watch this we got the commercial here that Katie Hobbs is running.
I'm Gladys Sicknick. I'm the mother of Brian Sicknick, the Capitol Police officer who died defending our country on January 6th. Kari Lake is very dangerous for our country. She saw what happened on January 6th and continues to spread the big lie. And we're going to have more violence because they believe whatever she says. It's very dire for our democracy, for our country, with candidates like Kari Lake. My son died because of people like Kari Lake.
No, that is not true. Okay, I'm sorry you're grieving. I appreciate the fact that you're hurting. But that's just not true. That doesn't make it any less okay to say such outrageous falsehoods. Just, man, they're despicable, and they'll use anybody to keep their power. Here's how Kari Lake responded to the mother.
Chris Vickley from CBS News.
Hi, Chris.
I don't know if you've seen this ad attacking you. That's
which one?
Which one?
Which one, Chris?
The mother of Brian Sicknick, the Capitol Police officer that died the day after January 6th. She, in an attack ad, is saying that people like you specifically are responsible for her son's death.
Good heavens.
I'm curious what you think when you hear that.
What's her name?
The mother of Brian Sicknick?
Yeah.
I think it's Cindy Sicknick.
Cindy, I just want to say to Cindy Sicknick, I'm so sorry about the death of your son. It is tragic. I'm a mother myself, and that is, it breaks my heart. That is a wound when you lose a child, no matter how old they are, that never heals. And so I don't want to disparage her. She doesn't know me. I wasn't anywhere near the Capitol on January 6th. And I understand that her son died, I think, the following day of a stroke or natural causes.
Right.
And I feel for her, and I see the pain in her eyes. And I would never try to disparage or hurt her, because I know when a mother has pain like that, there's no way to heal that. And that's why I feel for these moms and dads who hit me up on the campaign trail and they grab me. Mm-hmm. And you can spot them from across the room. There is a loss in their lives that can never be replaced. And we're losing thousands of young people. When they tell me they lost a son to fentanyl, when they lost a daughter to fentanyl poisoning, this is why we are pushing so hard to secure that border and stop fentanyl from pouring across. I'm used to attack ads. I've had probably more money spent against me than any candidate in Arizona in attack ads, but the people know me here. They're not believing what they're seeing in the attack ads. I've been in their homes for 27 years. And additionally, besides attack ads, I've had 100% negative lying coverage by the fake news of me and my campaign and our people.
Yes.
And so we've withstood that, and we will win, and we're going to do great things for Arizona despite what you guys say.
Wow. What a class act. Has there ever been a classier candidate than Kari Lake? I don't know. Somebody who speaks so eloquently, so calmly, so confidently. She's awesome. Striking the right tone virtually every time. So good.
I mean, yeah, she's good, right? But is she Katie Hobbs?
No.
See?
She's no Katie Hobbs.
See?
You got me there, Keith.
Yeah. See,
you just hit me where I live right
that's
there.
That's your choice, Arizona.
She is not Katie Hobbs.
You could have the confident, competent, awesome Kari Lake, or you could have
this, who was on
Why not
CNN
debate
yesterday.
your opponent? If you believe your opponent is, has issues in the spreading conspiracy theories about a stolen election and so on, and it's not being truthful with the people of Arizona, why then not get on the debate stage and debate her?
CNN asking her.
Not only is Kari Lake, has she centered her entire platform around this election denialism. I didn't want to give her a bigger stage to do that. But additionally, she has shown that she's not interested in having any kind of substantive conversation. She's only interested in creating a spectacle.
Pause it for a second. Can you believe that?
I know, man.
The unmitigated gall coming out of her face hole right now. That's incredible. Come on. This is the woman who won't have a conversation with anybody about politics. She said it, and then she ran from the reporter trying to talk to her about it. Oh, man.
No, it's good.
It takes a lot of giblets to say this and after what we know about her.
Kudos to CNN, because they do not let this go with her. This is epic.
Let's see it.
base with her, wouldn't it be easier to knock it down in front of everyone, in front of the most people? Because you're not stopping her from spreading whatever you believe that she is spreading by not debating her. She can go on television, she can talk about it, she can go in front of the people of Arizona every single day and talk about it, but you're not confronting her on it. And it seems like it would be an easy fix if you stood up on a debate stage and confronted her about these issues.
Yeah.
Look, we're 6 days out from the election, and our campaign strategy is our campaign strategy. So we're moving forward. I'm continuing to make my case to the voters of Arizona.
Her excuse is we're too close to the election now.
We debated, and this race is not going to decide this election. So, we made a decision. Didn't want to be a part of her spectacle, and she's not. She won't answer these tough questions to real reporters. She only talks to fake
But Secretary, it's not just her that you won't debate. You also did not debate your Democratic primary opponent, Marco Lopez. Why? And have you ever?
I was miles ahead of him. I was miles ahead of him in the race and won handily. It's a totally different situation here.
Well, it's not debating your opponent again. Have you ever debated your opponent running for political office?
So good.
Yes, I have.
High school.
Why do you think it wasn't important for people to see a debate in this election for governor at all?
Right.
In the primary, I was focused on the general election. I was miles ahead of my opponent. I won handily. It wasn't an issue. We're 6 days from the election, and
my God,
you weren't a month ago.
This is the decision we made. So,
all right, wow.
CNN.
I made this decision because this is the decision we made.
Yeah. And we're 6 days out, and so you can't expect me to have a debate now.
No, right. No.
Okay, but answer the question, why didn't you debate her a month ago?
Right, or 2 months, whatever. Wow.
I love this. Have you ever debated anyone?
Something else. I'd like to know when. When did you do that?
It was debate club in high school. Yeah, that's when I debated. What do you want from me?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're running for student council or something?
Exactly. It was tough. Mm-hmm. It was tough because those kids,
I'll bet.
They were trained at debating as well.
But fortunately, your opponent wasn't an election denialist, were they? Because then you wouldn't have debated them.
Right. You got it. So you got it.
All right, good.
Part of your spectacle.
All right, there's much more, including the really strange Paul Pelosi attack. We got to get into that. Coming up. So great to have you with us. Pretty agonizing between the presidential speech and trying to make sense of what happened to Paul Pelosi in San Francisco. It's a pretty wild week. The Post wrote sort of a timeline on what went on. They write, the crazed man who allegedly broke into Nancy Pelosi's home and attacked her husband with a hammer planned to kneecap the Speaker of the House.
Oh.
That's what he told Paul, apparently. David DePape. Is it DePape or is it DePape?
I think it's DePape.
It's DePape?
I think I heard his attorney. His attorney said his name, and I just think it was just
DePape.
Yeah.
He was slapped with federal charges on Monday for the Friday morning attack in which he broke into Pelosi's San Francisco mansion, fractured the skull of Paul with a hammer. DePape stated that he was going to hold Nancy hostage and talk to her. If Nancy were to tell DePape the truth, he'd let her go, and if she lied, he was going to break her kneecaps. Huh. Okay. He was certain Nancy would not have told the truth. The Justice Department charged DePape with attempted kidnapping and assault with intent to retaliate against a federal official by threatening or injuring a family member. Now, these charges could carry a penalty of 50 years in prison. Wow. And I guess he deserves it. That seems like a lot of time to be in prison when you didn't kill somebody. But
I'll say the press has given 11 times more coverage to the attack on the Speaker's husband than they did to the guy who was set to kill Justice Kavanaugh.
11 times the
11
coverage?
times more coverage on Paul Pelosi than Brett Kavanaugh.
Wouldn't mind seeing the comparison either between this incident and the shooting at the baseball practice.
Right.
By the disciple of Bernie Sanders.
And it will come as no surprise that 85% of the coverage of Republican candidates for office this cycle has been negative.
And 100% in the case of Kari Lake. Yeah. Did you read that stat?
No.
She wasn't just throwing that out,
wow.
Off the top of her head. That was actually a study that was done. And they determined it was a 100% negative coverage. Even from her former station on Fox. That's amazing. Jeez. Nobody in Arizona is presenting a positive spin on her. That's really something. But DePape was apparently prepared to detain and injure Speaker Pelosi when he entered the residence. He had zip ties, tape, a rope, and at least one hammer with him that morning. DePape, in a later interview, officers noted DePape viewed Nancy as the leader of the pack of lies told by the Democrat Party. He also claimed that breaking Nancy's kneecaps would require her to be wheeled into Congress, showing other members there will be consequences to your actions. Wow. Guy's he's nuts.
Yeah.
The affidavit described how DePape had broken into the Pelosi residence through a glass door at the rear of the house, using a hammer, and then he went upstairs where he encountered Paul, who was fast asleep at the time. Then he apparently said, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" And then the sleepy Paul Pelosi said, "She's not here. But how can we resolve this?" And then the timeline gets really weird. Because somehow he got out of bed, and he left the bedroom because DePape went and got him, and then they both returned to the bedroom together. At which point they talked again for a little bit, and then Paul Pelosi went into the bathroom. So obviously he said, "I got to go to the bathroom. Can I go to the bathroom?" DePape said yes. And that's when he called 911. DePape realized he called 911. And I don't know, somehow in the course of this, I think it happened before Pelosi went into the bathroom, but he also said, "Look, I'm really tired because I have this backpack that I had to carry here to do all this stuff. And so I'm going to tie you up with these zip ties, and then I'm going to take a nap in your bed." But then Pelosi got, really rude about this whole thing and went into the bathroom and called 911.
Wait, so Paul Pelosi, rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got everything he needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can't offer his bed for a tired, weary traveler?
No, that seems kind of rude. I mean, are you a good host or a bad host?
Right,
And I think he's being a bad host here. So anyway, because they walked back together to the bedroom, I guess they forgot about the nap, and he didn't tie him up. Instead, they went downstairs.
Forgot about the nap?
You forgot about it.
Wow, okay.
So they went downstairs and said a few other things to each other when they hear the knock at the door, and they let the police in. At which point, Pelosi goes back to DePape, to David, and they struggle with the hammer, where they each have one hand on the hammer, and David's other hand is on Paul Pelosi's other forearm. Meanwhile, the police who had just been let in, are watching this transpire. They say, "Hey, you guys, put down the hammer." And instead, David DePape pulls it out of Pelosi's hand.
Oh, no.
And hits him in the head with it.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, it's a very confusing situation. So
sure is.
I thought we might actually recreate it here.
Oh.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Political Theater. Today's episode is loosely based on actual events. We join our story as David DePape is about to break in to the Pelosi mansion in San Francisco. Ooh. That's a lot of glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ooh.
What in the
Wow.
world?
It just keeps knocking it. And
Somebody's got to hear that.
okay, and then he goes upstairs, right? We heard about that.
Okay.
So he's going up the stairs.
How
I don't know.
many stories are we going up?
Well,
by
there's
the
a
way?
lot of stairs.
Yeah,
It's
it's a mansion.
It's a big house.
Sure. Okay.
It's a big sticking house, but he's determined. You notice he doesn't rest along the way. He's going all the way.
Oh, that backpack, I can see why it'd be heavy.
Yeah. Right.
He's tired.
Holy cow.
My
Does he
goodness.
ever get to the top?
Are we in the Empire State
hell?
Building? Where do they live?
Oh, okay. I guess he's there
They
now.
got
but-
there, okay.
Oh, yeah, because we can hear Paul snoring. So then David says, "Hey, Paul, wake up! Paul! Wake up!" Huh? What's going on? I'm David, and I'm looking for Nancy, your wife. Where's Nancy? She's not here. This might surprise you, but the Speaker of the House usually conducts her business as Speaker in the nation's capital. Wow. Not San Francisco. Don't get smart with me, pal. Don't sass me. I may be crazy, Paul, but I'm not stupid. Oh, okay, well, right. Listen, how can we resolve this then? What should we do now? Well, I'm really tired, and I had to lug this backpack all the way up here to your house and then up your flight of stairs. What is this, the Empire State Building? So I need to take a nap. I'm going to tie you up, and then I'm going to go to bed and get a nap in. Well, no problem. You're the boss. But hey, I really need to go to the bathroom.
Sure, man. Middle of the night.
You know, my prostate ain't what it once was. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't want to hear about it. Go ahead, old man. All right. Going into the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Let's make a call to 911. Hello? This is Paul Pelosi. Someone named David broke into my house. He wants Nancy. Send help, please.
Oh, no. What is happening? Oh, there. I don't hear
There's a knock.
I don't hear any tinkling, by the way. I think he lied.
Hey, you're not calling the police in there, are you, Paul? Come out of there right now.
Busted.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I mean, since I already called them, you know, what do you want to do? We could go downstairs and wait for the cops to get here. Okay, do you have any Netflix? Yeah, we have pretty much everything. Really good ice cream, too.
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen the ice cream Nancy buys? Maybe I could get you a bowl.
Oh, no. What's happening?
Dude, now the cops are here. I know. I'm going to go let them in. Hey, officers, thanks for coming. Listen, I'm just going to go back over there to my insane home invader, David, and try to wrestle that hammer from him.
Hey, nice undies, you two. You guys need to put that hammer down.
I'll just take it and...
Hey, now, whoa.
And
oh, no.
hit him in the head.
Oh,
with the hammer.
No, that's not nice. Stop, no. Oh, bro.
That's what he gets for calling you guys.
Look what you just did. Now,
Yeah.
Mr. Pelosi, the husband of the Speaker of the House, is unconscious and laying in a pool of blood. We're going to have to take you in now, sir.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, but just don't shoot me. You know what? I think I hit him in the head with the hammer because I was just feeling a little cranky because I didn't get my nap in.
Put some clothes on.
Thank you for joining us on this spine-tingling episode of Political Theater.
And that's how it went down.
That's how it all went down.
Loosely.
Loosely based on the actual event. I don't think I'm any closer to understanding it now than I was before the reenactment, though. That gap between Paul going and answering the door, opening it for the cops, and then he struggles to get the knife out of DePap's hands.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just let the police do it? So that's where if it ever comes to be that they show us the body camera from the police, it's going to be fascinating to see that.
There's a lot going to be fascinating. Who opened the door? Like you said, that time gap between the door opening and the actual attack on the head there.
Which doesn't make any sense.
And I also want to see what the gentlemen were wearing. Or do I? Or do
you?
Uh-huh.
Or do you? You know, they've interviewed him multiple times, I'm sure, by now. And they don't seem... You would think the guy would say, if there was some nefarious other thing that happened here, how they got together, because there's been some speculation.
Oh, has there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe they got together, I don't know, in a different environment.
Oh, wow.
Not at Pelosi's home.
Not familiar with this theory.
Yeah, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
No?
I guess I should read up more.
Huh. Yeah, well, there's a theory they met in a bar.
What?
Yeah.
Is that right?
There's a theory, and I don't know. Yeah, you would think if that was true, though, he would have said so, right? And maybe he has, and police just don't report it. I don't know.
Everything that's being said about this case behind closed doors is being filtered to us? No, it's getting stopped before it gets out. By the way,
no doubt about that.
Completely unconnected to this. Who was riding with Paul Pelosi when he got that DUI a couple of months ago? Wasn't there somebody else in the vehicle?
Do we know for a fact there was somebody else?
I think there was a report of that, right? And I actually thought of that as well. And then one of your listeners thought about that as well and put it out there on Twitter. There was somebody else in the car. If Jeffy was here, he would be like, yeah, there was some. We got to ask Jeffy tomorrow. I think there was somebody else in that vehicle that we never found out about. Completely unrelated to this, I mean.
Of course.
I'm saying.
Of course.
I'm just kind of revisiting that old ground since we're talking about Paul Pelosi. He's back in the news. I thought, hey, let's find out who was in that car.
Okay. Well, is the implication that maybe it was David DePape?
Oh, my gosh. How did you get there?
Or some other guy that he may have picked up somewhere along the way?
How did you get there?
Super fabulous night out?
How are you getting there, sir?
Huh. Just wild, rampant, speculation being tossed out.
Huh.
It's so wrong to do. And yet it feels so right. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. I got to tell you about First Liberty's letter. This is the easiest thing you could possibly do. And it's free. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to go anywhere. Just go online right now. Sign First Liberty's letter on the Supreme Court coup. Because they are desperately trying, and if the Senate doesn't go to the Republicans, they're going to try to do this. They're going to pack the court. They want 4 more justices. That way, they're all liberals, of course, and they can get liberal rulings on absolutely everything. So we need you to join us. We're gathering a coalition of 1 million patriots to say no to court packing. And the liberal agenda and this Supreme Court coup. All kinds of great people are involved with this. Franklin Graham, former U.S. Attorney General Ed Meese, Dr. James Dobson, the Family Policy Alliance, the Heritage Foundation. Hundreds of thousands of people like you are all on board. Just go and sign your name. Just that easy. Supreme Coup. Go to supremecoup.com and sign First Liberty's letter. That's supremecoup.com. Welcome. It is great to have you with us today. 888-900-3393. It's Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Comrade Snoobage tweets about the refusal to debate Katie Hobbs. That's like here in Pennsylvania. Attorney General has refused to debate Doug Mastriano. We got Fetterman Oz debate, so there's no excuse for any other candidate to refuse. There needs to be some sort of penalty for candidates who refuse to debate. Yeah, they should lose the election. That's about it. Lose the election. Fury and Energy. How long does it take to edit the police body cam footage into deep fakes? Come on, it's 2022. This should have been done and released by now.
Mm-hmm. The family's already seen the footage.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
Bad Engineer tweets, so was the incident at the Pelosi house a mostly peaceful home invasion? It really was. Huh. Yeah, it really was. All Now, the cutout of Nancy Pelosi behind you.
Oh, yeah. She's been creeping all day.
It's been moved around. She's been upside down. She's all over the place. But fortunately, she's at least wearing a mask.
Sure. Yeah.
So she's not breathing COVID down your neck.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm doing that for Rex Chapman, former NBA player, who on his Twitter account tweeted out that she is absolutely hot.
What, Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
Has Rex Chapman gone blind since he left the NBA?
It was weird. I'm trying to find the actual tweet here. Let's see, where is this? Man, it is it's eluding me now. But he just talks about how I love Nancy Pelosi. Full disclosure, like huge crush. Huge from way back. Beautiful, yes. But big brain, big brain, huge confidence, sexy personified. Here she is, sexy personified.
Yeah. I'm not getting that vibe from her.
You're not getting that vibe from her?
No, is it just me?
It must just be you, because
must be.
Yeah, me. There was a listener's program that tweeted out a beautiful picture of her as well.
Oh,
where she's at the beach.
Oh, I saw that. That was on. I think that was on Drudge at one point.
Oh, was it really?
I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, just.
Hey. Yow.
What's not to love?
Thank you.
So I thought in honor of Rex Chapman, in case he's watching, I thought I would put her back there.
Yeah.
Sexy personified, Nancy Pelosi.
I think it's a good bet that he is watching right now, too. I'll bet Rex, if he loves Nancy Pelosi, he loves this show. Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah, bet.
So,
you bet.
Yeah, we need to follow up. We need to find out what happened with that DUI. Because
that was another instance where he's up at 2 a.m. or whatever, drinking, got drunk, driving around, gets pulled over, and there were reports that somebody was with him.
Right. People noticed in the original police dash cam video one of the videos that they had, you could see that the passenger side airbag was deployed.
Oh.
And people were like, "Hey,
has to be somebody sitting in it."
Right. It's not going to go off unless somebody's there. Yeah. And then somebody else pointed out, yes, there was a female standing near the vehicle during the sobriety test and dressed up like she was, going out on the town or something.
Gosh.
So I don't know. I have no idea about those reports.
That certainly has been squashed, hasn't it? Nobody's airing out that fact that there was a woman with him.
Maybe
2 a.m. Dressed like she's going out clubbing. And with Paul Pelosi, while his wife is out of town. I'm sure there's nothing to that. Sure, it's totally innocent.
She might have been a concerned citizen that just stopped to say, "Hey, what's up with the blue lights? Can I help, officer?"
It is possible, right?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
We don't. Or maybe he's just picking up voters to take them to the polling place.
Wait. When does early voting start in California, bro?
I think in June. Or
you know what? Hold on. Actually, there are several blue states where early voting may actually start in June, and we're just not aware of that.
Yes, that's for sure.
So you still feeling confident for next week, or do you think that
I'm a little
speech
nervous.
from the president last night may have telegraphed?
They certainly are. They seem to be setting things up quite nicely for if anything does happen. And I guarantee it, if there's a Republican wave, they're going to claim fraud. They're going to be the election deniers because they always are when they lose.
But Joe Biden just told me that if I doubt the election results,
you're un-American.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that won't apply when it's them doing it.
That's weird. I don't understand how that works.
Well, it's just because, Keith. It's the power of the D, and we'll see it in action once again. By the way, the Washington Post wants you to know that if you request video of any of the Paul Pelosi stuff, or you want video of what really happened on January 6th, because they've got something like 14,000 hours of undisclosed video, and everybody says, hey, if this was so awful, if this was such a bad insurrection, show it to us. Show us the rest.
Right.
What else do you have? Let's see it. And they won't.
Democracy dies in darkness, I heard from the Washington Post.
Yeah, but apparently not now, because if you want to see the video of either of those incidents, that just means you're trying to add to the conspiracy.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. My gosh. Yeah. Well, and then when you won't show them, then it certainly adds to the conspiracy because you've got something to hide. Why would you not prove your point on what David DePape did? Why would you not prove your point on January 6th and how it was so atrocious and it was the day democracy almost died? We have our footage still, don't we? Has that been lost, or do we still have
Did
our
Rob
footage?
take that footage with him? The heinous crimes.
I don't know.
from-
Kayla may not know where that is.
Yeah.
But
the January 6th footage from inside the Capitol, and it's truly horrific.
You got to kind of prepare yourself because it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
And you might throw up in your mouth a little bit. Or you might just flat out vomit profusely.
Was it the parading or the milling that got to you the most?
I think the parading was most disturbing to me.
The milling it's kind of underrated, I think, when it comes to crimes against humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it shows that they're trying to destroy our democracy. That's what it shows. So.
Hey, did you see that interest rates are up another
0.75 of a point?
And Jerome Powell says, we may not be done yet. It's hard to see a soft landing at this point.
And look how much it's helped already. So, that's going to be sweet. With us, 888-900-3393. Let me take 1 minute to tell you about Rough Greens. If you haven't given this a try with your dog yet, please do this now. This is such a great opportunity. And I think it's really cool that Rough Greens doesn't want you to waste money. If your dog doesn't like it, they don't want you to have to, spend some money on it. So that's why they're going to send you a free sample bag for your dog to try out for a few days. See if they love the taste like my dog does. And then you can jump in with both feet. And in the meantime, your dog will have all sorts of vitamins and minerals and probiotics, antioxidants that wouldn't otherwise be there. This is a dog food supplement that dogs go crazy for. And you get your free bag for your dog to try out. All you have to pay is the shipping. Just go to roughgreens.com, RUFFgreens.com, or call 833-783-3364.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
All right. Let's see. We mentioned yesterday that Julie Powell died. If you don't know her, she is the person from Julie and Julia, the book and the movie.
That doesn't help either. Sorry.
You don't know Julie and Julia?
I don't.
You've never seen the movie? The movie's actually pretty good.
No, I don't get out much.
She starts to get kind of obsessed with Julia Childs, So she decides she's going to try all the recipes in, the book of French cooking or whatever it's called from Julia Childs.
That sounds interesting.
So she takes a year and makes a different recipe every day.
Oh, my goodness. A lot of leftovers, right?
I guess. I don't know, but some of it looked really, really good. Anyway, she did that big experiment, and so she became
cool
quite
premise.
wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
And did really well. And she wrote another book, and that was about her cheating on her husband and her husband, in turn, cheating on her. But somehow they kept it together. But then on October 26th, she had cardiac arrest and died.
And so, you asked yesterday, I think you just kind of mused out loud, was she vaccinated?
Yes.
Okay, because, a lot of people started digging in her old tweets.
They did.
And they found some telltale signs.
Well, she had tweeted out, and this was on May 21st.
Or no, May of 2021.
Oh, it's May 21. Okay. May, so a little over a year and a half ago. This vaccine has me a little nauseous, but totally not up to actually doing something about it.
Okay.
So that's what she tweeted then. And then on December 21st of last year, she tweeted, off to get my booster.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And then she tweeted September 22nd.
So September 19th of this year.
This is September 22nd, but it's September 19th.
Well, it's the European way. See that? 19 September 2022.
Oh, okay. I see. You're right. So the other one and I, her husband perhaps?
I don't know.
So the other one and I just got over our COVID. So she got COVID anyway.
Right.
As they almost always do.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my doctor about the timing for our next booster. 3 months. I wasn't expecting that long a wait.
No, the doctor did her a favor and said, hey, I can't give you another shot until December. You need to relax on that.
But then she didn't get to 3 months. She dropped dead of cardiac arrest. So was she vaccinated? Yes. And boosted? Yes.
Okay, well, we also have the tweet, the very last tweet she sent. So she died on October 26th, but we have her October 25th tweet.
And she tweeted this. So I woke up with something that's literally black, hairy tongue.
Ugh.
People, including my doctor, seem to think it's no big deal and will go away soon. But it certainly is gross.
Okay.
That sounds gross. And that was...
last tweet.
October 25th. She died on the 26th.
Oh, my.
Weird.
What is that all about?
I don't know. There's a lot of unexplained deaths in this country, and I guess it's completely normal. You know, how long have you been hearing about sudden adult death syndrome?
Oh, it's got to be a good...
Jeez, please.
6-8 weeks.
For me, it dates back probably a couple months.
Couple months, yeah. See, that's about the same ballpark for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Can I just take a moment to share another tweet from Julie Powell that someone dug up from it was sometime in the summer of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I can really see the argument for slaughtering white people in the streets. It's not going to happen because most people are better than me, but I see the temptation.
What?
Yeah, so there you go. There's Julie Powell as we go down memory lane with her old tweets. Anyway.
That's weird. Wow.
But yeah, the SADS.
That's some weird stuff.
Yeah, sudden adult death syndrome. Total part of our everyday vernacular in America for as long as I can remember.
You can only remember about 6-8 weeks ago? Okay. That's understandable.
Actually, having that long of a memory is too much for Democrats.
Do you remember this? Do you remember when Benjamin Netanyahu was the prime minister of Israel? I mean, you were going back, 2 years?
Bro, I don't even know.
Well, he's back. And this time, he's pissed. Former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on the brink of a dramatic comeback after partial results showed he was on course to win a majority in parliament with the far right's help. 90.7% of the votes are in from Tuesday's election. And Netanyahu's bloc is set to win 65 out of 120 seats. And that's a big deal because if you get the majority, then I guess you win the election. You get the prime minister. So whatever party gets the majority, they get to choose the prime minister.
They're expecting Netanyahu to form a government next week.
We keep trying to tell them about this parliamentary system. It's not good. But then you think, well, wait, we could get rid of this guy we have under a similar structure. So maybe I should shut up about it completely. I don't know. The guy was agonizing again last night, and he'll continue to be agonizing. But I can't wait until they get swept on Tuesday.
I hope it happens.
Oh, I do too. Please let it happen. Be praying for it. It's got to happen in order to stave off absolute catastrophe in our nation. I mean, the things he said, and he said it completely wrong, and his reasons for this country ending are completely different than mine, but he is on course to destroy this nation very, very quickly. And we need to have at least some stopgap in there, and winning back the House and the Senate would be that. It would at least give us a little time to get to 2024 when we finally get this guy out of there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Gene in Michigan. Hey, Gene. You're on the Blaze.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I'm so excited, Pat, because I'm going to throw a day after the election party. So I can, I'm getting everybody together. We're going to watch The View so we can see Whoopi.
Oh, there's going to be weeping and wailing that day, isn't there?
And gnashing of teeth.
Yes.
And, we could give them their highest ratings ever.
That's for sure. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Gene. It will be interesting to see if it does happen. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but it'll be interesting to see if what is expected to happen happens and then their reaction to it. Are they going to be election deniers? I wonder. Well, Biden told us last night that if you know anybody or anybody who's running who's ever said anything negative about the 2020 election, you just vote the other way. And what he essentially said last night was, hey, look, don't worry about my policies. I know it's all bad, but vote for us anyway. That was essentially the message. Yeah, we've done a really crappy job. We're garbage personified.
Yeah.
But vote for us anyway, okay?
No, we had common ground there for a moment. When you said that you agreed that you're garbage personified. Yeah. I was there with you.
Were you?
I was there.
That's kind of mean, Keith.
What do you mean it's mean?
Kind of mean.
Yeah, well.
But
there I am.
There you are. The second largest teachers union boss was slammed after agreeing with the pandemic amnesty plea. American Federation of Teachers president Randy Weingarten faced heavy scrutiny after publicizing her support for an article published Monday, which called on its readers to declare amnesty for spreading misinformation during the COVID pandemic. Yeah, that's easy for you when you were telling everybody how evil and wrong and dangerous they were, and now that you realize you were completely wrong the whole time.
Now, okay, let's just forgive and forget. Let's just not even talk about it.
Yeah, it's pandemic amnesty. It started with the Atlantic article over the weekend. And that's what the left is really asking for. Hey, let's just let bygones be bygones. Let's not even think about it.
Right.
I don't know. I thought it might be interesting to go back and take a look at some of the things that they've said and done during the COVID era that we all suffered through. Just to kind of refresh your memory on what they want amnesty on.
And KISS lead singer Gene Simmons put this together, right? Didn't he?
No. He's one of the jerks who hate us.
No, Gene Simmons?
We've played this clip before.
KISS?
Refresh your memory here. See, this is what we can't forget. Let's play Gene Simmons.
Your political beliefs, you are not allowed to infect anybody just because you think you've got rights that are delusional, of course. You don't have the right to go through a red light.
Wow.
Actually, the government has the right to tell you to stop. You have to put on a seatbelt. If they tell you can't smoke in a building, you can't smoke in the building. And that's not because they want to take away your rights. It's because the rest of us hate it. We don't want to smell your smoke. I don't want to catch your disease. I don't want to risk my life just because you want to go through a red light. This whole idea, this delusional, evil idea that you get to do whatever you want and the rest of the world be damned is really terrible. We got to
pause it. There's a big difference between I get to do whatever I want and you not forcing me to inject myself with something I'm unsure of and don't want. Wow. That is really disappointing from Gene Simmons. It's pretty conservative. That's really weird. Huh. And there's more.
That you get to do whatever you want and the rest of the world be damned is really terrible.
Yeah.
We got to identify those people and bring them out into the open so you know who they are.
Okay.
Right. You know who your friends are by how much they care about you.
Wow.
Well, I don't care about you.
No.
I'm not your friend.
That includes COVID. If you're willing to walk among us unvaccinated, you are an enemy.
Whoa.
Oh, my. Well, wait.
We're an enemy, bro.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? And he did, right? He's been vaccinated. He's been boosted. Well, then you should be protected from me and my evil.
You shouldn't care what I'm doing.
You should not care. You got the vaccine. What are you worried about? People.
Yeah, so that's just one example. Hey, how about Arnold Schwarzenegger? Let's recall what he said.
All right, let's do.
There is a virus here. It kills people. And the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing.
That's the only
washing
way.
your hands all the time.
All the
and
time.
not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom.
Screw your freedom.
Don't forget what they did to...
that's a Republican, though.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's a big-time Republican.
Big time, yeah. How about what they did to our elderly? Remember how you couldn't go say goodbye to your loved ones as they died alone in a sterile hospital? Do you remember when you had to go up to the window to say hello to your relatives that were in nursing facilities, care facilities? Like this old woman here, could we please play this? I mean, she's so happy to see her family at the window. And then she's...
Hi.
Yeah. Well, come on in. Let's go. Come and visit us. Yeah, go to the door. This is heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking. And this goes on. And she's asking the nurse in there, open the door. And the nurse doesn't say anything.
Really sad.
And you eventually see the nurse leave the room, unemotional. Not because when I experienced this, at least the nurse was up there holding the cell phone up to their ear so that you could talk through the glass. And how ironic that in her room, the decoration directly behind her is an American flag that says USA. Nothing could be further from what the USA stands for, supposedly. This is just so heartbreaking, and it goes on and on. You can kill this, Kayla, because it just...
Yeah, but just forget about all that.
Yeah, just amnesty. We need pandemic amnesty. Let's just forget all this stuff.
Don't even worry about it.
No, you better remember all this stuff, because they sure as hell will do it again.
And one way you can remember it is by voting on Tuesday night, and we're going to be covering all of those elections. It is this coming Tuesday with huge stakes. Please, I mean, if you've never voted in the past, please stop that streak and vote. Make sure, because we talk about this all the time. Most important election. Most important election. Well, this really is.
Yeah.
We really mean it this time, and we can't sit on the sidelines and think, everybody else has got this. I don't need to go. There's a lot of races that are super close, and we need every vote we can possibly get. Hopefully, Republicans will be able to win back the Senate. They're certainly going to win back the House. We'll find out about Kathy Hochul. She's in real trouble in New York. Gretchen Whitmer is in a dead heat, essentially, with Tudor Dixon in Michigan. Tudor Dixon is a great candidate, too. And there's all kinds of things to cover. So get to theblaze.com/election guide to receive a free copy of Blaze Media's Ultimate Guide to the Midterms. It's going to be delivered straight to your inbox. Again, that's theblaze.com. Theblaze.com/election guide. And we'll send you everything you need to know to be ready for the election night on Tuesday. I'll be there. Stu will be there. Obviously Glenn and others. I'm sure Steve Deace probably.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Coming to town. Yeah. And to buttress your point on how important it is to vote and make sure that the people that are in power don't continue with their unlimited power of all the branches of government. Up in Quebec, they are now imposing a surcharge for those seeking health care if you're not vaccinated. I mean, this is what happens when the government controls your health care. Obviously, Canada knows. So, I mean, in other words, Quebec is like the opposite of Alberta, where Alberta is going pro-freedom. Quebec is like, no, we're still going to ostracize. Remember, pandemic amnesty, as they continue to... If you continue to give Democrats this kind of power, don't think that eventually we won't end up in a similar spot where they're requiring vaccination for... We already see what they're requiring it for now.
If not this pandemic, they'll do it for the next one.
Of course. And if you want to get services from the government, then they'll make sure that you're vaccinated. And there's just a lovely montage. I don't know if you want to play this here, but this is who you're voting against.
We'll get to that montage in just a second. First of all, let me recommend that a great snack to be chewing on election night
snack?
Yes. Kexi cookies.
Okay.
My favorite cookie, maybe of all time, is this chocolate ginger cookie that my wife does at Christmas time. She has made it now for the masses. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. So good. Perfect blend of chocolate and ginger, and it's got, marshmallow like cream inside filling and chips.
It's
like
good to
chocolate, white
celebrate
chocolate
with
chips.
Or to drown your sorrows with. Either way.
And I'm very much hoping it's to celebrate with. Also, the sweet potato pie, one of our most requested cookies, that's back. And coming around Thanksgiving, she's going to do the pumpkin bread again. And that sold out in like minutes when she offered it last time. So Keksi.com, KEKSI.com. If you use the promo code TheJeffy, you'll save 18%. 18! Okay. Yes. So never forget the leaders and their minions in the press who pushed all of this on us. Check this out.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin. and your refusal has cost all of us.
People who are incubators for every variant to come, walking around lawfully unvaccinated? That's psychotic.
For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death.
Oh, wow.
For yourselves,
Severe
your families,
illness and death.
and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm.
Oh, man.
About this, in a world of threats and tyrants,
Mhm.
terror,
Yeah.
you know what our biggest enemy is in America?
What?
Me.
Our fellow Americans.
Yes.
Wow.
Me, I knew it.
They are the ones that are propagating this outbreak.
Being frustrated
Bastards.
that there is still a percentage of the population who are not vaccinated.
Yes,
I wish
hate
that he would go
speech
further to restrict
is firing
the
up
activities
people
of the
against us.
unvaccinated.
Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
That's me.
25% can cause a lot of damage, and they are.
Yeah, they are.
If you're willing to
Oh,
walk
there.
among us unvaccinated, you are an enemy.
Wow.
Well, it's my rights. Okay. But I don't care.
The pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated.
Oh, really?
And that's, and they're killing people.
Wait, what?
Freedom not to follow the facts, even if your freedom kills people? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of freedom do they really want?
We have a
what?
pandemic because of the unvaccinated, and they're sowing enormous confusion. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units.
Are we?
Leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or pancreatitis or cancer.
Yeah, they turned them all
Shouldn't
away.
they have to pay more into the system
Yes.
because they
There you go.
are collapsing our
Collap-
health system? They're the
Right,
ones
right.
in the ERs.
They're the ones.
Require vaccination universally. Have the military run it. If you don't want to get vaccinated, you better be ready to prove your conscientious objector status in court.
Almost like it's going to be two Americas.
You're damn right. All right, so there you go. They want amnesty. Don't forget. Pandemic amnesty. Those are the cats that are begging you to forget everything they've ever said about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting because, you can forgive. You just don't need to forget it because it'll happen again if we forget it. It will happen again. So don't let it. Remember all the garbage they had to say. And at least it has to be brought up how wrong they were, how much they lied to us. And over and over and over, we're following the science. The science. They were not following any science. They didn't have any science to back up their claims because there wasn't any at the time. They were going in the dark. It was the blind leading the blind the whole time. They didn't even so much as know about the efficacy, but they pretended to. They certainly misled us with the 94, 95% efficacy rates of these vaccines. I'll never forget when Moderna came out and said at the beginning, yeah, it's 94% effective at stopping the spread. And then Pfizer came out and said, yeah, ours is 95% effective at stopping the spread. So the next thing we knew, Moderna was claiming, no, it's not 94, it's 95% effective. Oh, okay. All right. So you're both 95% effective at stopping the spread.
Yeah.
Then it turned out, no, none of that was true, and it wasn't even close.
And they hadn't done any experiments to get to that number, as admitted.
Which they
at
admit
the
now.
European Union just a few weeks ago. The Pfizer representatives are like, we
didn't even study it. I didn't even look into that. Why would we look into the efficacy of the vaccine? Why would you? I don't know, because wasn't that the point?
You were trying to change society.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to do some testing first.
Again, can you imagine if Dr. Salk said at the beginning of the polio vaccine, yeah, this wasn't supposed to stop polio. What do you mean? I didn't even look at that. Wait, well then, why am I taking this sugar cube right now? Well, because maybe down the road you won't wind up in the hospital. No, vaccines are supposed to stop the spread of the virus.
And it's not just that your little experiment on humanity didn't work to stop what it was supposed to stop. It's
actually harmful in some
dear
cases.
God, what is it doing to us now?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 We'll never know, probably. They'll keep that information hidden from us for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, right
Got
there.
overtime coming up, and then we'll finish off the week together. Jeffy will join us, and we got more on trivia coming up tomorrow. Pat Gray Unleashed.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.